Hi, I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be, did I over pursue to the point of no return? Well, this is a question that a lot of guys who first come to my work, they're trying to figure this out. They started dating a girl. She was really into him, it seemed like. Things were going along great. You're thinking, oh, this is going to be my future ex-wife, my future ex-girlfriend. We're going to live happily ever after together. Can't wait to build that white picket fence in the front yard and have our dogs run around it, whatever. But after all those fantasies are rolling around in the head, and then all of a sudden she's too busy to get together. She's not sure. She's confused. She needs some time to work on herself. You start hearing those kinds of things. And so it's a lot of guys that come to me, they're in this situation where the girl was really into him, and then now she's kind of going cold, and they're like, man, did I just totally chase her away? Did I ruin all my chances with her? So that's what we're going to discuss in this video newsletter. How do we take corrective action once you've over pursued? And how do you know if you're totally out of the running and you're out? Because as a man, it sucks to be wondering about this, especially when you really like a girl and your emotions are engaged. It's really hard to disengage and do the right thing when your emotions have gotten the best of you. So he says, hey, coach, I started seeing this girl a few weeks ago after approaching her and her friend at a bar. We had a conversation, danced a little bit, and had a good time before I left for another bar by myself. She texted me telling me that she missed me the same night, so I took that as interest and set up a date. Long story short, over the past 4 weeks, we have seen each other 8 times, and each time we've spent over 6 hours together. Of those 8 dates, just over half of them were all her ideas, asking me, what am I doing, when am I free, etc. It's clear to me that her attraction was at least a 9 to a 10 on the scale. Whoa, dude. Oh, time out. No, it was not. No, it was not. When it's 9 to 10, as the chapter It's All in the Numbers will list, when it says 9 to 10, that means she's in love with you and wanting to lock you down, wanting to be in a relationship. And so there's no way that she was a 9 to a 10 and you're writing me this email. And she's professing I love you all the time. It's like, come on, dude, you got to go back. This is why you got to read the book 10 to 15 times. Because what's really going on is your attraction was probably a 9 to 10 and you projected it on her and just assumed that she felt the same way. He says, and our chemistry together was amazing. Basically, she couldn't get enough of me. She was constantly texting me, but it was always flirty, sexual, and fun. Most importantly, it had always led to us setting up a time to see each other. And we have been all the way. However, I had trouble getting it up the first few times, but I made sure to help her out. Yeah, well, you should probably read the article How Men Can Have Multiple Orgasms so you eliminate that problem. This is part of being a man. You got to know how to choke the chicken properly and how to last even after you blow your wad. So when you start having sex with a girl, it's not terrible. Because if you got a girl whose interest isn't that high to begin with, and then on top of that you suck in bed, she's going to blow you off. So you got to get prepared, dude. As Confucius said, success depends upon prior preparation. And without said preparation, there is sure to be failure. Again, check out the article, and it's referenced in the book, How Men Can Have Multiple Orgasms. And if you do the exercises in there, which obviously you'll enjoy, then when you get together with a woman in person, you will both enjoy the experience, hopefully. Everything suddenly changed on the 4th of July. We had hung out into the morning hours of the 4th for 6 hours, watching a movie until 6 a.m., and then she asked me to see fireworks with her that evening, to which I agreed. She surprised me by saying that her best friend and her best friend's boyfriend would be tagging along with us. I didn't mind meeting them, and this seemed to indicate to me that she was getting serious about me. Well, no group dates until you are in a relationship. I would have just said, hey, I think it's really cool you want me to meet your friends, but we just started dating, and I'd really like to spend time with you or I. And then if she's insistent on doing that, and just say, all right, well, if it sounds like you'd rather go hang out with your friends, so why don't you go do that, and we'll get together another night. and do the takeaway on her. Because if she's not head over heels in love with you, and then you get together with her friends and you drink too much, or you say something stupid, now you've got her best friend and her best friend's boyfriend talking shit about you. So it's a bad way to go when you don't apply what's in the book. He says, so we went to the show together, but something seemed off. Well, the other thing you got to keep in mind is oftentimes women will invite blockers, cock blockers, clam slammers to your dates because their attraction is dropping. And what it does, it puts other people in the way to prevent a seduction from happening. And so this is another reason why you don't agree to do group dates until you're in a serious relationship. And on top of that, she's not going to be as natural and flirty and slutty, if you will, when you guys are together and she's got her friends there, because then she's going to be worried about what the friends think. So she's not totally comfortable with you yet, and you're not in a relationship, and that's why you shouldn't be going on group dates. She wasn't as affectionate and was kind of quiet. However, she did cuddle with me on our chair and kiss me goodbye. What was odd is that when I dropped her off, she said, I have to go, and just left, whereas usually we'd hang out for hours. So she's backing off. Again, I don't know if this guy was familiar with well, he says he's familiar with the attraction scale, so I can tell he doesn't really know the book. This is why you read it 10 to 15 times. You cherry pick, you start overrating her interest, like he's already saying, oh, it's 9 to 10 interests. Like, no, it's not, bro. No, it's not. It was never there. You're delusional. You're projecting your high interest onto her and assuming she felt the same way. And obviously with this group date, which was basically she brought cock blockers with her, where did it go? You just went home with blue balls that night. And you could tell something was off. He says, after that day, she has been very cold over text with me. Well, you want to match and mirror those actions. So you notice that this is what happens to most guys, though. She backs off, and he's thinking about the way it was when she's always calling, always texting, I miss you, can't wait to see you. And she's backed off, and so the illusion of action is kicking in now. And so he's thinking, and the illusion of action I discussed in 3% Man, he's saying, I got to do something. I got to fix this. I got to get her to like me more. How do I do that? Now he's acting like a chick. He's thinking like a chick. He's talking like a chick, basically. So he says, I took initiative and set up a date for the following Saturday, to which she agreed, although in a cold manner. We spent almost 7 hours together and had a great time and had sex for the first time. So yeah, this guy's trying to tell me that she's a 9 or a 10 and they just had sex for the first time. So that tells me all those times he was getting together, because he kind of insinuated that they were already hooking up, but they weren't, because he couldn't get it up. And again, if you're reading the book and you're not learning everything, and then you're just flying by the seat of your pants and cherry picking, it's like you make all these little mistakes and you turn her off instead of coming across as a magic man who knows how to make her pussy sing. You're just like soy boy who's not going to get to the promised land anymore. So he said they had sex for the first time, and during the date she had mentioned that she wanted to go back to a place we had been before, so I kept that in mind. The next afternoon, now he's like really over pursuing, I told her to let me know, because as the book says, you reach out once a week, and that's it, period. You don't start reaching out 2-3 times a week. This is where he's starting to over pursue, because he can feel her interest isn't there, so he's trying to make up for that by him doing more things, because women need time and space away from you to wonder about you, to think about you, to miss you, for their feelings to develop, and you cannot force this. It's like, just like a rose. A rose needs a certain amount of sunlight, it needs nutrients and fertilizer, and it needs water. And if you give it too much sunlight, too much water, too much nutrients, you're going to kill the rose. And that's basically what happens here. He's doing too much too soon and trying to make up for her lack of effort instead of just backing off. And so she likes him, and so she's helping him. and telling him things that she'd like to do, but he's starting to, it looks like he's going to the point where he's like doing all the pursuing now. So he says, the next afternoon, I told her to let me know when she would be available to go out to the place she had mentioned. And she said, of course, I'll let you know. And proceeded to double text me regarding another topic. And this is where I started to slip. Bro, you were already slipping. You're kind of delusional and you're living in an alternate reality here. I'm trying to bring you back down to earth. The following day, Monday, I asked her if she'd be free to join me for a hike on Tuesday. But she replied that she'd be busy with work, saying that she just started working full-time again, which may explain her coldness. No, she's cold because her interest has dropped. Notice how he's explaining away all these things. Oh, it's got to be the weather. It's got to be the job. Nope, it's you. I know you don't want to hear that. And your ego's going, no, Corey, it's not me, it's not me, it's not me. No. It's the weather. No, it's the job. I didn't make any mistakes. I said, no worries. Just thought I'd send out an invite, and she didn't reply. Then on Tuesday, I contacted her around 9 p.m. regarding going with her to Miami at the end of July. Now he's thinking, okay, how about July? So he's thinking, I got to get her to commit to something. I know what he's thinking, what he's feeling, because I was there once. I wrote about it in the book, and it's a terrible place to be. And so now he's contacting her every day to try to get her to agree to do something with him because he can tell her interest has changed. He's trying to force himself into her life. He says, she invited me to go on our second date, but I wasn't sure about her at that point, and I told her that I'd be willing to go now, but she said it would probably be too late, even though I offered to book my own flight and Airbnb. She doesn't want you there, dude. Hello. Pay attention. She hasn't brought up getting together again at all. Basically, I am worried that I over-pursued too much and turned her off these past few days. Is it recoverable? So, in this particular instance, again, the book says once a week you contact her, and you're like 4 days in a row you're trying to get her to do something, and she's saying no. Hey, I'll go on that trip with you. No, it's too late. You don't want to go. You won't have any fun on that trip. You don't want to go with us. Oh. She's putting you off. Never try to keep somebody who doesn't want to keep you. And so when you look at it like this, what I would do is, because you got to get her back to the point where she's making an effort again. So I would wait 2 full weeks to contact her or anything. And if you don't hear from her within 2 weeks, that's 14 days. 14 whole days. At the end of 14 whole days, if you still haven't heard from her, I would text her or call her and say, hey, I'd love to see you. What's your schedule like? And try to make a date. And if she gives you the same, my schedule's busy, all this stuff, just say, hey, no problem. When your schedule frees up, get in touch. I'd love to see you then. And then never call her or text her again for any reason unless she reaches out to you. That's basically where you're at this point. And so is it recoverable? Maybe, maybe not. But you have to become okay with not hearing from her and with having time and space. Because you chased her to the point where you turned her off to where she just doesn't even want to see you. And so the only way that's going to come back is if you just let her be. And then she starts to wonder, what happened to that dude? I haven't heard from him. It's been over a week. Did I piss him off? Did he meet somebody else? And so the reason why you want to wait 2 full weeks is you want to give her the opportunities, start to miss you, and reach out. And if she does reach out, just make the next date. Simple as that. Hang out, have fun, hook up. Your job is just simply to create an opportunity for sex to happen. And the other thing to keep in mind is it looks like he had sex the last time they saw each other. And I don't know if the sex was good or not, because it seemed like they tried several times and he couldn't get it up. He wasn't prepared. He freaked out or whatever. And so if the sex is really bad, then you might not hear from her. But like I said, wait 2 weeks. If you never hear from her in those 2 weeks, contact her one more time. Try to make a date. If she does, make a date, hang out, have fun, hook up. And if she gives you more of the, my schedule, the work's crazy. I just started this new full-time job. It's crazy at work. Then just say, hey, no problem. Well, when things settle down a little bit, get in touch. I'd love to see you. And just leave it at that and never contact her again for any reason unless she reaches out. And if she does, after that, then make a date. It's pretty simple, but you got to read the book, dude. You can't cherry pick things and bend the truth and bend reality and ignore it and expect everything is going to be just fine. I mean, saying that her interest is a 9 to a 10 and she's in love with you is like, that's absurd. That's just ridiculous. It's one of the most ridiculous things I read in a while. So it's like, you need to come back down to earth, dude, because you're in fucking La La Land. So if you got a question or a challenge and you'd like to get my help, go to understandingrelationships.com, click the products tab at the top of your screen, and book a coaching session with yours truly. Until next time, I will talk to you soon.